Our three main topics we'll be talking about today about Young and Bloor is past, present, and future. Past. The first step Young and Bloor took to becoming a major intersection in Toronto was installing its first traffic lights in 1925 to help the flow of cars. In this picture taken in the 1950s looking west on Young and Bloor, you can see obviously that the population density is much lower than in the present, and there's less cars. In the future here, where there's much more cars, much more traffic, more people around, taller buildings, more residential and commercial buildings for neighborhood, and much more stores. This is another picture of the Young and Bloor intersection taken in the 1930s, and as you can see, there's a lot of stores around still, but there's a bunch of streetcar lines, more streetcars, because back then not many people had cars, so they put a lot of streetcars in the intersection in the area, so people would use those to get around. But compared to now, they don't have any more streetcars anymore. They got rid of all of them because nowadays everybody has cars, so everyone just uses their cars to get around. So. In this picture, also taken around the 1930s of the Young and Bloor in Yorkville area, you can see that it still had a lot of shops and restaurants to eat at, and it was still known as somewhat a shopping district, as is today, which is one of the most expensive shopping districts with a variety of stores to buy from and many food places. But back then, for its time, it had a lot of shops and restaurants to eat too. In 1878, the Yorkville Fire Station was built. It is one of the city's oldest active fire halls. The two-story structure has a 5-story clock with 3 bays. It has a coat of arms from the old Yorkville Town Hall. It was restored in 1974 and is still here today. Present. The Young and Bloor intersection is an unofficial dividing line between downtown and midtown Toronto. It has a wide range of fast food restaurants, pubs for late night eating. Its subway station, Bloor and Yonge, is a connecting line from Line 1 to Line 2. It is often used by many TTC riders. As you can see in this representation, Young and Bloor is the busiest station out of all the other stations, with 200,000 riders a day. Yorkville is 2 blocks away from the Young and Bloor intersection where we went. It was established as a separate village in 1830, but then in 1883 it was added into Toronto. Yorkville consists of many different areas, residential areas, office spaces, and an array of shopping options. Yorkville had rents of $300 per square foot in 2008, making it the third most expensive retail space in North America. It is one of the most exclusive and expensive shopping districts in Toronto. Okay, so this is a present day Young and Bloor. As you can see, there's many buildings around, a lot of businesses and condos and stuff. So it's
a lot of new buildings and old buildings.
Yes.
We predict in the future that they're going to break down almost all the old buildings and have them replaced with new ones.
Yeah.
But right now, it's a mix.
Right now, there's a lot of businesses going on here. So this is a big Toronto library in the Young and Bloor area. As you can see, it's absolutely massive. It's about 4 or 5 stories, as you can see of this picture of the inside. It is a good building to have in the area because it attracts a lot of people to the area, because many events are held there, like Mini Maker Fest, and organizations like do meetings there and stuff. So it's a good building to have in the area as like a center hub. Future. This is a old building made out of brick being teared down to be for a new plaza to be made. In the future, we believe that most of these old stores and houses and buildings will be teared down and built into big commercial or residential buildings or high-rises. This is one of the many projects and construction sites in the area, in the Young and Bloor area. But this one is a little bit different. This one, they're building the second tallest building in the area. As you can see in this picture right here, it's not fully done yet. It's a huge residential skyscraper. and it's gonna be over 75 stories. It's gonna have housing on top, and it's gonna have like a little plaza shopping area on the bottom, as you can see in these future photos of what it will look like when it's done. Now this is good for the area, like in the future, like 2050 and ahead, because the population density in the area is gonna keep growing and rising, as with the population in the city. And this is good because this provides houses for the fast growing population, and reduces space on the streets for stores by compacting them into one building, so they can build more condos on the streets.
Yeah, we're in Yorkville, which is 2 blocks away from Young and Brewer intersection. There's a lot of construction in this area because they're breaking down old buildings and building new ones. Mostly condos, residential buildings, commercial buildings, businesses. There's a lot of business offices here, like Manulife Center, the Bay. There's a lot of condos, like right there, that really tall building right there. Since this place has a really high population density, there's also a lot of businesses. It's a good way for them to make money. It's a good place. And Yorkville's an expensive area because of the high demand. And I think in the future there's going to be a lot more people living here after all these buildings are done.
So here's one of the buildings that we were talking about. As you can see, it's very old.
It's going to be teared down. It's actually being teared down right now.
Yeah, it's being teared down right now. All the brick is crumbling, and there used to be small stores in it, but now
most of these businesses are going to be bought.
Yeah, they're going to be bought out.
So they can be broken, and the land is going to be used instead.
Yeah, they're going to be bought out, and all of it's going to be changed into high buildings and modern structures. See, these are more little like shops that we think are gonna get torn down in the future, and a bunch of plazas and commercial sites being built and are built already here. And most likely, we think that most of these little shops are gonna be torn down and either built into commercial sites or malls or plazas. So yeah. This is just another visual representation of what we were like talking about. This is not just Young and Bloor, but this is basically most of Toronto. So in the year 2050, we believe obviously that, like we said before, most of the small stores, unless they're in plazas or malls, are going to be teared down, demolished, and built into residential buildings and condos, because that's what the city needs right now, condos to support the people, because the population is growing really fast. And it takes time to build condos, so they gotta keep building them. And yeah, that's yeah. As you can see in this graph, it shows the amount of people that cross pedestrian scrambles in different intersections. If you don't know what a pedestrian scramble is, it is basically when both sides of traffic is stopped so that pedestrians can cross the intersection in any direction they want, including diagonal. So to this graph, I picked 4 intersections. The graph, Young and Bloor obviously being one of them, because that's the intersection that we picked. And I picked some not busy intersections like Central Toronto, and I picked some really busy intersections like Yonge and Dundas. And as you can see, Young and Bloor comes in second out of these 4, with 7,200 people crossing the intersection in an hour. But in Toronto, Young and Bloor is ranked 48th in most busiest intersection. In this graph, it shows the different types of transportation that people that live in Yorkville take to get to work. Yorkville is 2 blocks away from the Yonge and Bloor intersection where we went. As you can see, the most popular form of transportation to work is driving in a car alone, with 80% of people doing it. Then there's carpooled, then worked at home, then other, then walked. This shows that most people that live in Yorkville don't actually work in Yorkville. They work outside of the community.